Today we are introducing our new Student of the Month program, and along with that we've also got Posture of the Month and some monthly meditations, and basically it's just a whole big new world of video. And so I figured who better to feature in our Student of the Month video than the video people. This is Rick Dillwood and Carrie Hart, and they are students here at Revolution Hot Yoga. And Rick is a filmmaker and a film teacher?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Close enough?
Yeah.
And Carrie is the sidekick and the producer and the interviewer. And what else? How else would you describe you in your role in this film collaboration?
Yeah, I send a lot of emails. So I'm like the emailer.
You're like the producer.
Yeah,
That's cool. So we're just very lucky to have you guys as part of the community. And all of the videos that we have up on our website now have been produced by Rick and Carrie. And we've been working on this project for a while, and so it's really super exciting to finally kind of like, lift the curtain and show who's behind the camera. And to thank you for your service in providing this for the studio. I mean, it's just such a cool thing to be able to do. And, one of the things that I personally love about the community that we have here is that, everyone's equal on the mat, but then you scratch the surface and you find out who people are when they're not doing yoga. And it's like there are amazing people doing amazing things. And a lot of those amazing people doing amazing things give back in service to the community, and these are two of those amazing people, and this is one of those amazing services. So really glad to have you guys here. Thank you for being our Students of the Month. And I'm excited to kind of like kick off this program and tell people more about who you are and what we're doing and all that other good stuff.
I was interested in yoga from a pretty young age, so really my early teenage years, I checked out books from the library and was like, how do I do this pose? I was just kind of doing it in my bedroom before the internet existed. I will say that I think that hot yoga came into my life at a really good time because I was sort of in my late 20s, and some things had started to happen with my body that were I was recovering from a knee sprain that was had been bothering me for a year. That I got playing basketball, and hot yoga has really helped those things. There's, I think, just that shift from early 20s to late 20s where you start being like, why does my lower back hurt? But I think the hot yoga has been really helpful in healing some of those things and preventing some of those other things. So I would tell myself that.
I don't know that I ever necessarily thought of yoga as a potentially strenuous activity. It's deceptive because when you watch it, it seems like, oh, well, everybody's just standing there kind of with, a leg up or something, but it's really hard. And I didn't know the meditative component of it because I just had no practice. And I don't know at what point in my life that would have become appealing, but I really love it now. I mean, that's why when the Sunday yoga church is great for me because I like the sort of focus that it gives, and so many other things in my life can kind of drift away when I'm, really, trying to focus on a posture.
As a teacher, having the most amount of patience with myself and with my students is really helpful, and yoga is sort of a little humbling, kind of teaching is. You kind of come in with certain expectations and then you don't necessarily, it's impossible to know what's going to happen. So I feel it's kind of it mirrors teaching in that way. So that's really helpful and just kind of keeps me chill, which is, helpful in not losing my patience with teenagers. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I started my yoga practice, I was a student, and I think at that point it felt more optional because the life of a full-time student is pretty great. And then when I went back to the classroom, it became more of no, Sunday mornings this needs to happen unless I'm in a different town. It just needs to be there. And I think that, for me it's sort of similar, that it just kind of helps to, start each week maybe a little bit more even or calm or any of those things, just because I'm interacting with so many people on any given day. It's nice to just have a thing that's a really especially the 90-minute hot flow. It's a good amount of time to just be in a room and just like really, really focus on what's happening like in my mind and like with the poses and stuff. So
I feel like I can come here to learn a lot of things about the practice. Like every class sort of feels like it has like a little nugget in it that I'm like, oh, it can work like that, you know. So it's kind of interesting, just kind of like from a, you know, physical and mental perspective. And then I think beyond that, it's just kind of like it has a nice, like, friendly but also not competitive but also challenging atmosphere. And I really like that like you don't have to like wear your fancy expensive yoga clothes. You can just like wear the same 5-year-old pair of yoga pants that I wear every week.
What are you talking about?
Like, that's fine, you know. And I don't feel like any pressure to like be into that like super commodified version of yoga. So I appreciate that. And the popsicles are just really great.
The mixed berry is good.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty awesome.
Yeah. I think I did Bikram for, I don't know, was it 2 years maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And I liked it for, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I don't know that I necessarily thought of there being alternatives to that. At the time, I think I thought maybe it was the only version of hot yoga. I don't know why it didn't occur to me that you could just turn the heat on in any kind of yoga. But because that sequence is fixed, you know, I think that after a while you can kind of lose your mindfulness a little bit and just start anticipating the next thing as opposed to being in whatever the pose is that you're meant to be in. And I really liked, well, when we first started doing yoga with you before this studio existed, I just really appreciated your teaching, which always felt very much connected to the people who were in the room at that moment. So it wasn't just like, oh yeah, like I drafted like a list of poses 2 weeks ago and we're just going with that. It always feels like you're responding to the makeup of the group in the room. And so there's something about that, and it's not like Sunday to Sunday, it's so different, but it's different enough that I don't ever get into that mental space of anticipating like, oh yeah, I should be thinking about this pose because I know what comes next. Like I don't always know what comes next. And it always feels just like really connected to the group that's in the room on the day.